everybody. It's Abby Glassenberg from Craft Industry Alliance. Hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday. We are here every Wednesday for our member spotlight. Today we're going to be talking with Louise Orth, who is a sewing pattern, quilting pattern designer, and she lives in the UK, which is super cool since I'm in Boston, and I'm very excited to talk to somebody so far away. So while we're waiting for Louise to join, I thought I would tell you a little bit about what's going on here at Craft Industry Alliance, and that is coming up next week. We're going to be doing a webinar all about adding a subscription box to your business. So when we'll be doing that at 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's free to all members, and we would love to see you there. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about subscription boxes myself. Oh, hey, Louise, how are you?
Hello, hello.
So nice to see you. So you're in the UK and I'm in Boston.
Yeah, sunny. Well, it's not. It's 6:30 here in the evening in the UK. It's cold. It's dark.
I hear you. I love the. Is it a quilt behind you?
It is. Yeah, it's my my block of the month that I've just started in January, called Celestial, and we're just working on the circles at the moment. So yeah, this is one of my versions.
Oh, wonderful. I love it. It's so beautiful, very modern. So tell us a little bit about your business and what it is that you do.
So I'm mainly a quilt pattern designer. I also do some sewing patterns too. I started writing patterns 8 years ago, something like that. Started off in the magazine industry, so exclusively working for magazines, doing quilting, sewing patterns, a lot of the British magazines. So Quilt Now, which unfortunately no longer exists. Molly Makes, which unfortunately no longer exists. And some other Simply Sewing. I still do love patchwork and quilting, so I'm still with them regularly doing magazines. And then in 2017, I think it was, that I started releasing my own patterns under my own name for sale. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Still going.
That's great. So how did you first start getting connected with magazines? Because I think for a lot of people, maybe it goes the opposite direction where they maybe start a blog or start an Etsy shop or something like that, maybe make a few designs that they self-publish and think, well, I would like to get, more exposure, a little bit of kind of that legitimacy stamp of approval that a major publication can give me. Let me pitch my ideas to a magazine. But it sounds like you kind of went about it the other way around.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I never really thought about it that way. But yeah, so for me, it definitely started with the magazines. I just reached out. I just got in touch with a magazine. It was, I can't remember the name of it now. It folded quite a few years ago. A British general sewing, not just exclusively patchwork magazine. And I just said, here's my design. Would you like it? And amazingly, they said yes. So I think it was like a table runner or maybe a cushion. I started out with those sort of smaller ones, and then I started pitching quilt designs and other projects. But yeah, now I look back at it, just went for it. Just emailed some editors and said, do you want this?
Yeah, that's awesome. So just some encouragement for folks who are out there to think, that is possible. You don't have to have some sort of massive web presence or whatever. If you have a good design and you know how to write a good pattern, go for it. So I think that's great.
And don't be put off if you are new to it, because the magazines will give you guidance on how they want the pattern presented. So even if you're sort of new to pattern writing, don't be put off, because they will help you with that. They'll tell you the organization of it, abbreviations, things like that. So yeah, it was a really good sort of foundation to my pattern writing career, really, because I had that as my basis, and then you can sort of tweak it to how you like it formatted or presented when you come to write your own patterns.
Yeah, that's a great point too, which is when you write a book or you write for magazines, the editors there give you feedback, and that feedback can be really valuable, whether it's around how to format things, how to write things, or even how to tweak designs so that they're more marketable to the audience, because that's, their bread and butter. That's what they work on all the time. And so their collaboration between you as the designer and them as the publisher can be incredibly helpful for you going forward.
Yeah, it was definitely a really good experience. And obviously I'm still doing it now. I'm still working with Love Patchwork and Quilting regularly, doing quilt projects or sort of quilted cushion projects for them, the odd sort of general sewing project for other magazines too. So yeah, it's something I really enjoy doing. And it's always lovely to see yourself in the magazine, you know. That first time is amazing, but it still feels good, you know, later
Yeah,
down the road.
absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your block of the month and how you've got that organized. Is this the first time you've done this, or have you done this in the
This
past?
is my second block of the month course. So yeah, this is celestial. You probably can't see it too well here, but it's got the central sort of star. There's circles going round. I don't know if you can see. We've got other little guys going on up there. So it started in January with the curve blocks. We then moved to the other ones, and it's done via my online course platform. So then people get like a video tutorial. You'll get sort of a equivalent of a pattern just for each block as a PDF. You can download it. And then we've got a live call once a month to troubleshoot any issues, any questions and answers, or just general sewing chat as well. So yeah, this is my second one now.
That's great. So tell us some lessons learned, because I think for a lot of designers too, sorry, organizing something like this feels exciting, but also very intimidating. Like that is 12 projects, 12 video courses, 12 live chats. And you start to look at the amount of work, and then you have to have the whole design, you know, sort of laid out and made and everything before it all starts. And anyway, I'm sure if this is your second time around, there were some things you learned the first time around that you're like, ooh, I would change it for this time.
Yeah. So this is actually only 6 blocks. It's only 6 months. And this last one was only 6 too. So I haven't stepped into that full year yet. But I think that's probably a good place to start. Do a couple of 6 months ones, and then you can go to a year. What I've learned is try to get ahead of yourself. Like, it's so easy to think, I don't really need that till March. I don't need to do that till April. But then you find yourself maybe
then you're up all night, right?
Oh, so yeah, definitely worth getting ahead, getting it done, you know, and then any issues that come up, you can deal with it way before it happens. You know, do as I do, do as I tell you, not as I do, is what I'm going to say. So yeah, to try and get ahead and not think of it as something that can be put off month by month. And then as well, you've got it sort of hanging over you every month. You're still going with the pattern. So I think to keep the energy and the motivation going, try and get those patterns written and the video tutorials filmed long before it's needed is my advice.
Yeah, great advice. And what are some of the advantages, do you feel, of doing a model like this, where it's a 6-month commitment that people are making up front, and then you're building this community with them over that 6 months, versus selling, you know, just patterns, which I'm sure you have as well in your shop, as, you know, one-off patterns. But what is the advantage of this model?
I think doing it this way, it's not so overwhelming. To present this as a PDF is essentially, you know, you've got 6 different blocks plus putting it all together. You'd end up presenting almost like a mini book, which is fine. And I do plan on releasing it as like a standalone booklet later in the year. But there's multiple different techniques. You've got not just different blocks, but you've got different techniques. And I think doing it this way is a nice way to drip feed what would otherwise be quite an overwhelming batch of information and tutorials. I think it's a nice way to do it, so you can spread it out. People can have time to work through it without feeling like it's overwhelming for them. So I think that's quite nice. For, you know, it works well with certain patterns. Obviously, if you've got a more simple pattern that's 1 block repeat, it might not. I mean, it's still very good to work, you know, through it slowly. But with something where there's lots of different techniques, lots of different styles, it's quite nice to do that on a slow sort of drip basis.
Yeah, I imagine you'll see more finishes as well, because one of the things when you sell patterns is that a lot of people buy patterns and then they never make them. They have an aspiration. They're like, I'm going to be the kind of person who makes this. And so they buy it, which is awesome. And they aspire to make it, but then life gets in the way and they never do. And so it can be frustrating as a designer, because you're like, I really want to post pictures of customers finished pieces, and then there aren't very many, especially when you're in the beginning stages. And so if you do it this way, you're more likely to have finishes because you're breaking it down.
It's definitely a lot more manageable. I think a lot of people might have really good intentions. They do all the cutting, maybe they start 1 block, and then, you know, life gets in the way, which is totally understandable. But hopefully this way it's sort of a lot more easy to manage.
And tell us about some of your other patterns, maybe some bestsellers, the ones that have really outperform the others and sort of what you think makes them so special? I don't know if you have samples around or you
Yeah,
can just tell us about them.
so I've got one of my, well, actually, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? When I design patterns, you think, oh, I really love this. This one's going to be so
Yeah.
popular.
And that's
Or you
not the
might,
one.
yeah, it's always the other way around, or something where you think, oh no, so I'll show you one of my most popular ones, and one that I maybe was a bit, I actually shelved it for a bit when I designed it because I thought, no, it's too simple. It's just half square triangles. No one will be interested. I've got a baby version here. It's my ripple quilt. And oh, you probably can't see too much, but it's half square triangles.
Yeah.
And I did an ombre version where it was dark to light teal.
Oh,
And I was
it.
really unsure about releasing it because I thought maybe it's too simple. But yeah, it's been one of my most popular ones. And I love it, of course. But it does surprise you because I've had more complicated ones that I thought were like really, people obviously want to buy a pattern for this. It's more complicated, but they haven't been as popular. So, you live and learn.
Yeah, and I think sometimes as a designer, you can say, well, why would you even need a pattern to make this? Like, it's just so simple. And yet, from the consumer side of things, having somebody tell you the direction step by step, and having, when you buy it or you're looking to buy it, having the finished product look achievable. Like, it's not going to be too hard. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to be able to finish this. It's really attractive to people, So from the designer perspective, we might only buy a pattern for something that's very complicated that we couldn't figure out on our own. But from a regular average consumer perspective, that is not necessarily what they're looking for.
Yeah, and I think that's important to look at it, not, because my customers aren't necessarily all quilt pattern designers who know exactly how to make everything, because then they wouldn't be buying my patterns. So you've got to look at it from, the average quilter's perspective and not discount those more simple designs.
And do you have customers who want the exact fabrics that you've used in the sample?
Yes.
And that always surprises me too, because again, as a designer, I'm like, all I want to do is put my own colors together, my own fabrics together. But I have many customers who will contact me and say, well, tell me the exact name of the collection that you used here. And so one of the things I've learned is that you better pick a collection that's easy to find, that people can get a hold of, because if they can't, they get upset and they want that exact collection. Yeah,
so with this baby one, this ripple, like I said, I did it in teal. And I so happened to take a screenshot, a little picture when I was doing it of the Kona colours I was using. And so many people have contacted me saying, oh, what colours did you use? I'm so glad I took that little picture that time to remind myself what colours I was using. Because, I was amazed by how many people want to make that exact, shade for shade replica of the quilt. But I should probably start selling the fabric too.
Yeah, I mean, those are things that you learn over time from having done things and then getting that feedback from customers. And then you realize what the average consumer is looking for and what kinds of ways you need to have, things you need in place in order to help the average person.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's been popular. Do you have any others around that, or you can just tell us about?
My other one that was popular, and I did a sew along for it. I think it's one of my first sew alongs. I've only got a quilt top here now. Is my vintage tiles, which is actually a bit more complicated, but I don't know if you can see it. So you get like a replica, repeat design, but then it has like a secondary design. Oh my goodness, this is so hard. So I don't know if you can see. You get that sort of secondary design. That was really popular. I don't know if that was because I had a sew along for it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Emily Dennis shared it in her stories, and I think that might have helped.
That can help a lot.
A few years ago, back when I was a few years into quilt designing, so that was really nice. But I think just trying to get it outside of your own little bubble of followers and subscribers, so that was really good. Plus I did love this design, and it was slightly more complicated, so I felt that was a special one for me.
And we have a question from somebody, which is great, from Kenza Coleman, who asked, do you make many mock-ups of your patterns, like making it up in like a scrappy kind of selection of fabrics or in a modern selection, maybe some solids, or do you do mock-ups like that?
I do, yeah. I love mocking up my quilts. I've got so many variations. I think it's important to do it as well, because when you release a quilt pattern, you want to make sure it's going to look good in other colors or other fabrics as well, not just this one quilt you've designed that looks amazing in that collection. It's nice to mock it up in sort of pastels or bolds, different collections. But yeah, I use EQ8, so I will just download swatches and swatches of fabric collections and solid colors, and do so many mock-ups in sort of different sizes as well, baby size, lap, bed size, just to sort of see how it works. So yes, lots of mock-ups.
Yeah, and that helps consumers to imagine, right? To imagine, well, if I made this in darker shades, or if I made this in all solids, how would this look? And EQ8 is electric quilt, if people aren't familiar with that, which is a quilting software, and it has all these different swatches from different fabric collections and the main quilting cotton collections out there. So you can easily do that if you learn to use electric quilt.
And you can import your own swatches as well. So a lot of the fabric designers, if you go onto their webpage or their wholesale page, will have like a zipped file full of digital swatches of their fabric that you can just download and then upload again to EQ8. And it's like I can't possibly make all the quilts myself, so I just have to make them all digitally and enjoy them that way.
Yeah, thank you for that question. That was really interesting question to explore. So tell us about what's coming up for you. We know we have this 6-month block of the program going on. Anything else coming up, or goals, or sort of things you want to accomplish in 2023?
Yeah, so I'm actually working, my next pattern is actually a basket pattern, not a quilting pattern. So that's my next pattern. I've got a little sample here. It's a little divided pouch with a little zip in the middle. So that's my next pattern that I'm working on. I've got another collaboration with a few other designers. We did a British sew row last year for the Jubilee, for the Queen's Jubilee. Nice. And we each created a different row of British themed sort of iconic things. And we are doing another one this year, which is English country garden themed. So we're working on that. So you can watch out for that in the springtime.
Fine.
But yeah, I think that's about it really. I've got so I've got the bomb. I'm at QuiltCon for the first ever time in February, which I'm very excited about. Yes, I'm going for my first ever QuiltCon. So I'm really excited about that.
So much fun. That's a great show. Yeah, I was there a couple years back, and it was wonderful. So I know you're gonna have a great time and be very inspired. And
I know.
That's awesome.
Buy all the fabric and come back.
There's good shopping. Bring money, because there's good shopping.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, this has been great talking with you. Thank you so much. Tell everybody where to go, where they can sign up and follow along, etc.
So I am, I didn't even, Lou from Louise Orth Designs. I'm Louise Orth Designs everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, my website. Yeah, come say hi. Always love to meet fellow people and chat about quilts and sewing and fabric.
That's wonderful. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. I love learning about your business. Thank you for being a Craft Industry Alliance member. We do have members all over the place, including in the UK. So, because sometimes I get that question like, do I have to be based in the US? And the answer is no. There are people all over the world. So we're very happy to have you as a member. And thanks for everybody who came today.
Yes. Thank you. Lovely chatting to you.
Thank you. Good talking to you. Okay, bye.